Okay, so I'm going to do a general reading. Nothing particular. Cleanse this home from all the evil, negative intentions from other people, any black magic, negative energy, projections, spell castings, hoodoo, voodoo, anything sent towards me. Return to sender immediately. I carry my own energy at this time. I'm not taking any energy that's from anybody else or any other entities. Any negative energy that's projected towards me, return to sender immediately for them to transmute through understanding for their own healing journeys. And preferably higher vibrational frequencies only. Thank you. Okay. I think I'm going to start off with past life cards. So I'm going to do 4. Yeah, I'm going to do 4 past life cards. And then maybe some clarification cards. We'll see. Just to see what comes out. I have nothing in particular. No way of doing my readings or anything like that unless I'm dealing with a person face to face. So this I kind of just go with the flow. Let's see what comes out. All right. One more. Please and thank you. All right, so let's see if I can do this. Maybe I can get it down a little bit lower. Echo. Hey. All right. First one, past life, authority figure. Very nice. It goes hand in hand with a Hierophant. Second one, past life, biblical. Third one, past life, leaving or travel. And the fourth one, past life, mother. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some clarification cards for each of them. First, I'm going to start off with authority figures. Obviously, if this is a past life sort of thing, if you're an authority figure or you have some run-in with authorities or something to do with authorities, could be in your bloodline, because a lot of people actually have the bloodline where it's kind of passed down. The whole idea, the job that you're responsible, not just in the 3D. Okay, so we have a justice system. You understand how that works, the law and order. We even have maritime law and everything like that when it comes to the 3D here in your flesh. But there's also a 5D aspect to it, which means that in the 5D realm, there are certain people that hold authority and can make certain judgments and do certain things when it comes to the 5D realm. Okay, so sometimes when it has to do with bloodlines, it could be passed down in your family, which means that your title, what you're supposed to represent, not just in the 3D but the 5D, usually you get appointed that. You do have to go through your trials, tribulations, and it depends what kind of karma you have, depends what you've cleared up, what you've learned throughout your life, and so on and so forth. So, can I get a clarity card, please, for authority figure? Eight of Swords, bound by something. Okay. Well, obviously, if you're going to be bound by something and it's the authority figure, you could be expected to carry out certain things that maybe it's almost like the idea of when you're growing up and your parents want you to follow a certain job or do what they did or take over the family practice or the business or something along the lines of that, and you're kind of expected to do that. But sometimes there's other parts of us, there's other past lives or even gifts or abilities we have, and we don't necessarily want to follow in the same footsteps. It could also mean that if you've had any run-ins in the past life with authority, maybe you were convicted of something, bound to something. It's quite possible. Let's see. Yeah. Any kind of crisis, conflict, domination, imprisonment, even. If you were a convict in your past life, it's possible. That would just be karma, right? It maybe not necessarily you, but maybe it's part of your bloodline as well. Maybe some things that were not learned, or some things that transpired that you have to kind of clear up in this life. That turmoil, bad news, criticism, sickness, that sort of thing. And unfortunately, if it's going to be under authority, maybe you haven't here in the 3D committed any crimes or anything serious like that, but in your past life, it's quite possible, or maybe your generational thing, whatever they've passed down to you, that you might have to clear up. One more popped right out. King of Clubs. This is not something that's necessarily a bad thing. He can be a very handsome man, but looks aren't everything, especially when it comes to authority. They don't really care about that, do they? Typically, the King of Clubs is generally somebody, good catch, is generally somebody that's honest, and, mature, wise, devoted, friendly, sympathetic, educated, a gentleman, and usually married. Not always, not all the time, but more of like a fatherly type figure. This can also be associated, a lot of readers do associate this with, you know, promiscuous kind of guy, but not necessarily. Very good looking man. Anyway, so if there's an authority figure or somebody that you know, or maybe this is yourself, maybe you're all for the liberty, like the whole idea of Libra, you're all for keeping the peace, or maybe you're the kind of person that, is like a mediator between people here in the 3D, but in your past life, maybe you were a judge or something like that, and that's something you kind of follow. But just remember, if you're bound to something like that, don't forget about yourself here in the 3D. That's important. You don't want to throw things away for yourself or sacrifice certain things just because you feel bound to it, or you want to keep the peace for other people. But you got to remember, you're taking on their karma too if you're not careful with that. Okay, on to the next one. Biblical. Past life, biblical. He's working with a mallet and a chisel, carving out some wood. It looks like he's carving out a bench. Interesting. It's got a saw in the back. Okay, biblical. One card. Clarify biblical past life. What could that be? Past life biblical. One card. One card. Past life biblical. Just go with the flow here. If anything resonates, great. If not, maybe the next three will. Who knows? Biblical. Past life. Biblical. Anything wants to come out to clarify that? Okay. Two of Swords. Oh, interesting. Biblical. I think a lot of us are aware that when it comes to history and the way certain things go, especially with religion, there's been a lot of war involved. It's not always a good thing. Generally, Two of Swords, usually you got the woman there. It doesn't have to be a woman, but she's holding up the two swords, and it looks like she's ready to kick some ass to begin with. I think there's been a bit of a gap. Obviously, now women are treated significantly more different than they used to be in the past. If this is a past life thing, following any kind of religion or doctrine has its pros and cons. I'm sure a lot of us are aware of that. Sometimes it's a good thing to think outside the box and not necessarily always follow something, but so it's a balanced force, usually harmony, firmness, offsetting factors. It can be a stalemate, and it can be affection as well. So if this is a past life thing, maybe your love of religion, or your love of what you follow, or faith in yourself, faith in a higher power is something that you're very devoted to. It's not usually a bad thing, but sometimes it can end up in a stalemate too. Depends, because if you have a conflict between your heart, what you truly want, and then following a specific way of being, of living, like a religion or something like that, sometimes it can be a conflict there. And sometimes, there's a firmness to it, but it can have offsetting factors. So if you're fighting yourself, that can be, let me get one more clarifying card for that. Biblical, Two of Swords. Why is that coming out? A little bit more clarity on what that means. What exactly are you getting at? Ooh, Seven of Swords. Oh, again, with the whole idea of battle. Religion has a lot of conflicting interests. If you are strategic in the way you approach certain things, religion can be good. I mean, you have everything in the book. You have all the information you need of what's happened in the past. You learn from the past. You move forward. You make better decisions. Hopefully, you've learned lessons instead of copying the same thing and repeating the same thing in cycles over and over and over again. You don't want to do that. You can still have love and faith for a certain religion or anything biblical that's happened in the past and stuff, and you can have your respect for your ancestors, your elders, or whatever you want, but to be strategic in it, knowing where to go forward. You don't know what's going to come in the future. Most of us don't, because it has many different variations, and we all manifest and co-create together, and we all have an impact on each other, especially spiritually and energetically, and we don't necessarily know what's going to come up in the future. But I would say Seven of Swords is pretty good when it comes to planning. It's good to think before you act. Any kind of new plans or wishes, you persevere forward. Any endeavors or hopes, it's good confidence and opportunity for success. So let's say something in your past, maybe you've made mistakes in the past, you're learning from it now, or anything in your past life, you come back here and you've already been through it, so now it's a bit easier. Things move forward a little bit more smoothly. Okay, going on to the next one. Leaving or travel, past life. If you're used to be, I'm getting this right off the bat. If you're used to being a runner, maybe now in this life, you're not a runner anymore. Maybe now you stand your ground. Maybe now you're firm on your beliefs. You stand up for yourself. You have more self-confidence. You're more compelled to make decisions that are going to create a better life for you here in the 3D, in this version, this lifetime. Maybe your ancestors in the past have had so many trials and tribulations, they've been through so many things, or maybe they did not get past certain things, or they ran away from certain things that they were supposed to confront in order to learn the lessons. And here, this time around, you come into existence, and now it's your turn. It's almost like you take the torch. What are you going to do? Are you going to be a runner? Are you leaving? Or maybe you're traveling somewhere. Maybe you're into travel. And in your past life, you weren't able to do so. You were stuck or kept in a certain place. I know, obviously, our ancestors back in the past, there's only so much ways they could travel. It's much easier here now in 2023 to do traveling and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's going to continue to get easier to travel in all different kinds of ways. But it was maybe much more difficult for our ancestors to do such a thing. So maybe travel is something you're interested in. Maybe you're going to start traveling more. Who knows? A little bit of clarity for that. Clarity for past life. Leaving or travel. Did you maybe in your past or your ancestors, or maybe past life, you had to leave, up and leave, and you didn't want to? We got the King of Coins. generally a father figure as well, somebody that's well off. He's got all his ducks in a row, so to speak. Usually a man of honor, but leaving or travel. If it's a fatherly figure, maybe it's somebody that had to leave in the past. Not necessarily, but there's a lot of times where good men, had to leave their families behind, or they had to travel, whether it be for work, war, anything, you name it. Usually an experienced man, like a successful leader. So a lot of times, even back in the past, leaders had to go abroad, or they had to do certain things. I don't know if it has to be political, but usually a person of character, somebody that's very intelligent, that has business acumen, somebody that's loyal, reliable. Like I said, usually a father, marriage partner, somebody that makes good investments, ability to acquire money and valuable possessions. So if that's under the past life of leaving or travel, that can have a big part in it too. Clarity card for that, maybe make more sense to that. What else we got? What's coming through here? Somebody's moving around a lot. If it's here and now, maybe you yourself are traveling a lot more for your business, or maybe you know somebody. If you're a female, you know somebody that's a male, or you can even be a male that knows another male. Maybe it's your partner, maybe they travel a lot, maybe they have to leave. Something to do with a past life. Hopefully they're not a runner, if anything's up with that. A little more clarity for leaving or travel, past life, King of Coins. A little more clarity on that, please. Little more clarity on that. Oh, okay. The Tower. These usually symbolize test, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but usually it's a lesson that's not learned. So if it's a cycle, again, I'm coming back to the whole thing of leaving. A lot of people run away from their problems, and if they do not confront them, eventually it'll come and sneak up on you. If this is popping out here now, there could be a reoccurring thing, maybe something that happened in your past life, or maybe passed down generationally, of a reoccurring pattern, something coming up, if it has to do with money or business or anything like that, or maybe even family life or something like that, constantly leaving. Maybe this time around, you're going to stand, whoever it is going to stand and resolve the issues, or take charge, or do whatever kind of accountability they need to do. If it comes to travel, maybe not so much. Maybe it'll be cancellation of plans. You'll be required to stay in place, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you want to stay in place, but you're going to be required to travel due to whatever issues are coming up, or maybe if something that's, kind of forcing you out of your spot, or forcing you to go into movement. It could be an event or something serious that happens that puts you in a questionable situation, and where you have to make decisions, kind of taking you out of your comfort zone. Or it could just be a lesson that needs to be learned. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad one, but sometimes lessons are hard, and sometimes the truth, if any truth comes out, if there's losses, just remember things will be replaced that's meant for you. If you have to give things up or leave things behind, sometimes it's in your best interest. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. I'll move on to the next one, number 4. Last but not least. I'm just clear this up. This next one here, past life, it says mother. So if you have any, usually it's the female line, the lineage. If you have any past life traumas, especially to do with mothers or any motherly things, it could be a good thing too. Wisdom, knowledge. You see here how she's reading to her children. It could be lessons learned, maybe even karma that's been cleared up, or karma that needs to be cleared up from your mother or your mom's mom or your mom, all the way down, your grandmother, your great-great-grandmother. Could be some karma there. This to me looks like around the 60s, 50s and 60s. It's given me that vibe. There could be certain lessons that need to be learned, certain cycles that need to be closed up. Yeah, I'm going to get some clarity cards on that. And they're not necessary. Oh, I'm stuttering. I'm not sure why I'm stuttering. If there's an absence ever, there could be a past life thing where there's an absent mother. If that's the case, if you yourself are a mother now, maybe you're making decisions that not necessarily were made in the past, which is good. It's an improvement. If you're a cycle breaker, congratulations. If you're somebody that has learned the lessons that you needed to, you cleared up the karma, good. If not, there's maybe some things that you need to clear up, maybe some things that you need to break the negative cycles, or sometimes they call them family curses. Maybe you yourself needs to go within, kind of like hermit mode, do some introspection, learn some things, whatever's been passed down to you. Maybe some not so good habits that were passed down in the family. Even in a past life, maybe decisions were made if you were a mother in a past life and not a mother now, or anything that you need to address that hasn't been addressed. It's really important that we take a look at ourselves, what we are responsible for, how we act, how we think, the lessons that we need to learn. Yes, there could be things that have passed down by our own mothers, or maybe even if we have any mama drama or anything like that, or any unresolved pain or conflict or something like that that we need to resolve. That's great and everything. We have no control over what was done in the past. It is done, but we can learn from it. We have no control over what our own mothers do, but we have control over ourselves, what we do, how we think and act, how we make better decisions for ourselves, our families. If you're not a mother, then maybe this is something that's going to be approaching you soon. Maybe you're coming into motherhood. Maybe somebody is just finding out they're pregnant. Congratulations if that's the case. Just remember, whatever's passed down, we can learn from. We don't have to recreate it. We don't have to do the same things that we did to our children, that maybe our moms did to us, or maybe we have wisdom and knowledge, good stuff that we can pass to our children that we learn from our mothers. So I'm going to get a clarification card. That came out right away. Page of Cups. That actually landed over here on leaving or travel. I'm going to take that into consideration, though, as sometimes we're given a gift. A lot of the times, you know, I see the little orange fish here, the goldfish. It could be a koi fish, which could signify one thing, or it could be a goldfish, which is usually attributed to a small attention span, not the greatest memory. However, if there's certain things that you're lacking, maybe a past memories of your own mother, or like I said, if there's an absence anywhere in there, or you know, if there's any good memories that you can cling to, I would recommend doing that. Not sure why that's coming in. Holding it. This is a younger boy, and he's holding a cup. He's got, it's almost like a bit of a gift. Maybe there is some wisdom or knowledge that was passed down to him. mother to son. That's quite possible. Or something that she has to offer him. Or maybe there's even passed over loved ones that are trying to come through to give a gift or shed some light on something for a younger boy. It doesn't have to be a boy. Studious. Somebody that's attending school. Somebody that's intent. Reflective, meditative, loyal. Getting a boy who, well, most boys love their mother very much. Willingness to offer services and efforts toward a specific goal. Helpful person, trustworthy worker. There's a huge thing when it comes to past lives and the connection or the relation between mother and son. A lot of things can be passed down, good and bad. Lessons can be learned there. I'm getting a good energy off this, not necessarily a negative one. It can go either way. Even here in the picture here, it looks very intense on what his mother is reading or trying to show him. Very interested in learning. They got a bunch of green flowers there. Love. He almost looks surprised at some of the information he's learning. Hopefully that's a good thing. Doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing, but if it is shocking news, maybe some things that a child is learning about their mother, or maybe some information or news or some stuff he's learning about, anything in the past. Yeah, okay, so a clarification card. Something to clarify this. Mother past life. What's this? Mother past life. There's a card that wanted to come out, so I'm going to shuffle. What's this? One more clarification card for the mother past life. Mother past life. What information you have? What message you have there? Nothing wants to come out. Come on. Past life, mother. What message you have? Past life, mother. It's a bit rough. Alright, okay, that flew all the way over here on 8 of Swords. That's bound to something. Sometimes we can have so much loyalty to our own parents that we forget to think for ourselves. And that's under authority figures. The Magician. We have the capability of creating our realities and co-creating whatever's passed down to us from our parents, our mothers especially, and that can be genetically as well, DNA, that information, that knowledge, that wisdom, everything that's passed down to us, every little bit of information. Sometimes we do things we don't even realize has been passed down to us from our own ancestors, even our mother's line, our bloodline. We have the capability of making the right choices and doing the right things and cleaning up any karma. We can clean up the bloodlines. We can end the cycles, the negative cycles karmically. We can make better decisions. It's not to say that our mothers in the past or our past lives or any decisions we made in the past have not happened, but we can learn from certain things. We can make a better future, brighter future, especially for the children. Because they are important, even if they're not your children. I'm going to be very specific here. This message is coming through. Even if they are not your children, the information that was passed down to us and what we have available to us now is very, very crucial in helping the next generation and build their confidence so that they can make the proper decisions, not based solely off emotional responses, but having control over our emotions, having control over the way we treat each other, how we react to certain situations, even in the midst of chaos or anything that happens. It's very important that we remain calm. We want to be the healthiest versions of ourselves so that we can pass that to our children, so that we do not continue and perpetuate old cycles or old programming or old things that may be not beneficial to us in the future. For the Magician card to come out, it's almost like the same boy here. See? Now remember, I got the vibes of 50s, 60s almost. And then we got the young boy here, almost preteen, young teen. So he's learning as he's growing. And then we got the older man here. It's almost like the same boy. It doesn't have to be a boy. It can be a girl too. But it's almost like the same one now. They're grown up. Now what are they going to be passing forward? What are they going to be creating for this world? What are they going to be co-creating with the universe? What are they bringing into existence with all their gifts, talents, and abilities and the knowledge that was passed down to them? What are they going to create for the future? Are the lessons learned? The bond between mother and son is very important. Same with mother and daughter. And the lessons that we need to learn are so that we can end certain cycles to create new, so that we're not perpetuating any pain, fear, anxiety, hate, resentment, jealousy, none of that. That's already been done. We were placed here to learn, to experience, to co-create, to evolve and mature, especially emotionally. We were given the opportunity to do that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave it at that. If you come across this video and there's a question you have, please write it down in the comments below. Or if there's clarity you need on any of this, I can draw that up for you and I will respond to your comment, okay? And give you whatever clarity you need if I can get it, if it comes through. Right?